swing now.
Taking CEOs and stuff out.
Oh, they must have not feel like they were.
Yeah, but it's
Making no money.
I'll fix it.
Saturday,
Yeah, I'll
Sunday
fix it.
morning.
It was unplugged, sitting over there.
Oh. That's what I learned to drive on. His daddy's 68, Oldsmobile 88. So he's behind me. I learned to drive.
Mr. Mitchell. How you doing?
Well, so let's start out on that one, and then before I got the driver's license,
Around
we took
20,000.
it out of office, and we got one of the trucks like that, we on the tree, and we learned to drive that.
I'm just gonna say, hey, I got the sinus mask.
How you doing? I learned to drive in 1963 Ford Fairlane.
I know.
And then I found it.
Load off.
I redid it. From, front bumper to back bumper, and my wife, when I got done with it, she said that, and I said, honey, I said, all my brothers and sisters, cousins, I said, we all learned to drive in that car, so we got together, took it down to my grandparents' old house, and all stood around it, and had a picture made, and my wife, you know, made a photo, and she said, what do you have in this? I said, got a little over 17,000 in it with everything. Not too bad, is it? I said, well, it's not bad at all, George. Really? And she said, well, how much is it worth? I said, about 4.
You never get out what you put in.
But it looks good, man.
You still got it?
Yeah, I still got 62,000 miles on it.
You know, questions are through the roof. That's the
Right.
started, yeah.
Yeah. And my one, I learned Torino. It's a big block car.
Nice.
I got a guy, Debbie. The only phone number she's got written down is this guy that won't see it. She said, the rest of my stuff she can give away.
She's waiting on you to die.
I hope she does anyway.
She's waiting on him.
I know not to ask what's in something. What I mean.
I hear you, buddy.
Never let them know you're worth more dead than alive.
Let's do it.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the Madison County regular business meeting, October 24th, 2022, 6 p.m. Please stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before you is a copy of the minutes from September 26, 2022 public hearing, 2022 regular business meeting, minutes from October 3rd, special call meeting, minutes from October 3rd, 2022 agenda setting work session. I'll ask for a motion to approve these minutes if no one sees any discrepancies. Motion by Commissioner Chandler. I have a second by Commissioner Adams. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none. Frank?
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Thank you, guys. Business involving guest groups or multiple visitors. Hearing none. Chairman's report. A little bit lengthy, but it's mostly for Zach. And for you all that know about some of it. So, Madison County Board of Commissioners is partnering with John Jones Lodge, John H. Jones Masonic Lodge, and the Chamber of Commerce on Halloween in the park. This event will take place October 28th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Memorial Park in Danielsville. Children of all ages are invited to dress up, trick-or-treat, play games, enjoy a fun, safe evening with family. We invite all business groups or churches to come set up a table if you'd like to participate. Baker to register. Early voting now open until through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, October 22nd and 29th from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. thought there was a late day in that.
It's two Saturdays, it's 2 Saturdays.
All right. Disposal events now through November 5th at the Madison County Transfer Station. This event is only for Madison County citizens, up to 10 tires per citizen. You can drop off your tires on Wednesday, Thursday, only from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Please take advantage of this program. Basketball registrations are now open at the Madison County Rec Department until November 5 through 17. You can register online at the Madison County Recreation Department website. I need to back up to number 2. Election update. The Board of Elections to elections right fast. We've had 58 voters last week, including Saturday, with early voting. Ms. Dean's office has mailed out over 630 ballots. As of 11:30 today, the county's had 133 voters, and I'm assuming she means ballots. Absentee ballots.
Yeah, that's 630 absentee ballots, and then as of 11:30 today, she had 133 people come through the door.
Oh, come through the door, okay.
Just today.
So early voting is shaping up like 2020 election was. Now, the 19th annual Madison County Public Safety Toy Ride and Cornhole Tournament will be November 12th at Madison County Memorial Park, Danielsville. All proceeds will be donated to the Madison County Food Bank to support Christmas for children in the county. Keep Madison County View program host a free fall race Saturday, November 12th at the Madison County Government Complex from 10 a.m. until 12 p.m. and offers document shredding, medication take back, shoes, clothes, recycling, books, batteries, cell phones, chargers, and ink cartridge recycling. One that you do not have on your list, and I need to address, is Christine, I'm going to jump down to number 9, or it's my number 9 anyway. I have to take a picture of it. For everybody that's wanting to run all the different ads out there, please let Madison County know about it. Here's one that says Madison County Christmas Assistance. This is Madison County Food Bank. Here located in Danielsville. Register in person from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on these dates. This is only 4 dates. October 31st, November 7th, November 14th, and November 21st. No waiting list and no makeup dates. Must have proof of income for each person in the home, Social Security card, 2 proofs of current address. Children 0 to 12 will be supplied. This is hosted through Tony Behrman, Madison County, as many of you may know, and Georgia Family Connection collaboration. It's a great program. If y'all, please, the public, come by, take a look at our food bank. We have a phenomenal food bank. It ranks with anyone in Northeast Georgia. That expansion has served us well. It is completed, it's neat, it's clean, and there's a lot of good stuff that can be utilized by the public. So whether you're picking up items or just want to stop in and see the facilities, please do. Miss Bobby Rooker does a phenomenal job with our food bank, and we're very proud of the things that she does. Number 7, I want to address this under Chairman's report for the public. Dirt roads and beware. There's cameras now on various dirt roads. We have 125-mile roads. There's cameras located on different dirt roads throughout the county. Probably close to 18 to 20 sets of cameras are out there. We had an incident the other day. 4-wheeler hit head-on into a car, flying curve, wide open. Every man that got killed a year or so ago, same situation. I'm telling citizens, if you would like to provide your own cameras and provide the pictures of the people on it, that we will follow up along with the Sheriff's Department, because dirt roads are not a place for 4-wheelers. Sides of the roads, out of the easement, along a pasture fence, fine, so be it. Not in the middle of a dirt road. Number 8, dirt roads again. same cameras again. Debris. We picked up mattress after mattress after mattress off our dirt roads. Our dirt roads are not a dumping ground. Those same cameras will prosecute you to the full extent of the highest penalty possible that our court system will allow. So you don't let your duties plate turn into $1,000 dinner, because I'm really, our dirt roads are nasty, people are complaining, and it's, beware, not only debris, dead animals, it's deer season. Don't throw your deer carcasses in somebody else's yard. If I catch you, prosecuted also. Just so you know this, Christopher's sitting in the back and he would love to see you in court. Get off my soapbox now. It's frustrating, guys, really frustrating. Yeah. On the way to the dump, between here and the bridge going into Culver, there was probably 3 truckloads of trash. 5-gallon buckets every 50 feet. Like, they didn't just blow out the back of the truck. You know, our mowing crews come along, they can't see them in the high weeds, they run over them and now have 100 little mattresses. You know, it's sense in it. There's no sense in it. So hopefully with the cameras, we'll make examples of somebody. Don't be that somebody. Statements and remarks on tonight's agenda. Hearing none, there is no old business. New business. Consider amending the nepotism 50-46. I will give you a short summary on this, gentlemen. This pertains mainly to part-time and seasonal help only. We addressed this due to staffing shortage, help, and rec department help. If a brother and sister wants a job seasonally or part-time, we did not feel like our policy should punish a brother and sister. No changes were made to our full-time employees. This was strictly to allow more young people to get into the workforce with our county government and through our rec department. Mike, is there anything you'd like to sum up on that?
Perfect, that's accurate.
So on this one, gentlemen, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second motion.
Motion by Mr. second by Commissioner Chandler. Any discussion, gentlemen?
Appreciate your staff getting this done. I think it's needed, and not just the rec department, it could be the rec, I mean, the senior center, it could be several key areas.
To employ more of our youth. We just do. Brian Kirk.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen. Discuss amending zoning ordinance section 14, section 3.8 through section 14.3, 11.10. Let me get that one in front of me. Christopher, you want to come up and explain this one, or Mike? I know y'all worked hand in hand in putting it together. Get your eyes on it.
6-9, is that the first one we're doing?
14.
3.8.
Number 8. Oh, yeah.
All right.
Here you go, buddy. Can you just...
No, I just in front of me, so I'm sorry. 14A. Section 14, we had several edits. In general, I think they took them up 5 as one, if I remember correctly. A lot of it is updating the verbiage. Is really all that one is. Not too much.
The biggest change is that 60 days to 6 months.
Yes. Other counties atypically had, we were really short, but I'm confident in our staff that if an issue did arise, if we've been doing it in 60, we can do it in 6 months, still be a faster pace and do a better job of it as well.
It had been longer before. It may have been a year sometime, but I know it was longer than 60 days at that time.
Back before,
I think it was
trying
a
to,
year.
2008,
I think that's right.
it was a year. And then between the 2008 to 2002 major changes, and I'm not sure at what time, if it was the 08 or the 13 change, they went all the way down to 60 days. And we in that amount of time, bless you, we can't do a good, in my opinion, do a good job of preventing that. So let us do it right the first time and not have to do it twice.
Anyone have any other questions for Christopher? Might as well keep your seat. We'll move on to the panel. I'll ask for a motion to, approve the zoning ordinance amendments.
We hadn't had our board of commissioners hearing on these, have we?
No, this is discussed.
Oh,
This is
okay,
meeting.
never mind, I'm sorry. All right, I'm
We
sorry
got
to
into
discuss.
we got into a certain point in the moratorium that every time the board's seen something, they're coming to vote and vote and vote, so I added it. So you get a meeting to discuss, and we'll vote on this at the next meeting, and we'll discuss more amendments at the next.
All right, so we got one discuss.
So you
Is
have
that what
a
y'all did?
public hearing,
Yes.
and then we will have a public hearing the week at the same time we go.
Y'all don't feel like it's out of left field?
Yeah.
Is the provision, and it's, I don't know if it's section, the provision that allows the commissioners to go back and revert or rezone if no action has occurred on it in the year's time.
Also in here, me and Mike looked at it, there was a section where, rezone was based upon the, approval or the exception of a building permit. And we did away with that one, building that didn't have anything pertaining to zoning on that, but a time lapse wasn't there. And the best way I can say it lightly is, at some point, somebody was on the right track and took a left turn and should have made a right. So,
Agenda item number 9 to discuss is amendment section 3.1 definition. You'll notice that the only changes made is under the grandfather clause.
Can I take a break just a minute? Let's go back to number 14.
Yes, sir.
That's for y'all as P and Z to consider, and for us as commissioners as well. It wouldn't hurt my feelings for that to go back to a year. And the reason I say that, if you have a rezone that has significant opposition, then in my mind, it's unfair position to have to set their calendar to know that they have to come back. So if you increase that time from 6 months to a year,
For the denial,
for the denial,
a year before you can come back.
would that be,
It's a thought.
could the board table it and put a date for it to be tabled?
Well, no, this is for when the board has not tabled it, it's when they deny a rezone application. Typically, as Christopher said, most places have a year, for several reasons, one of which is, to give time, give staff time, but the main thing is, if there's such a short waiting period, it's sort of a free shot for people to apply.
Come again.
You just keep coming back, which then clogs Christopher's office.
And you just outweigh, outpatience to opposition.
Exactly.
and some counties have 30 days, and then some have a year days, so we were kind of on that lax end, going just straight down the middle, moving forward. The reason for that, instead of doing a full year, are some of those that catch on a technicality, that we deny this, they've got to come all the way back around. So the 6 months for that catch-22 item, where some of them may be spinning and throwing it out there in that short 30 or 60 day time, trying to give the benefit of doubt to.
In those situations where it's, when those oddities that they've gotten denied, and we as commissioners can allow them to come back sooner, correct?
Correct. We can initiate it.
You could initiate it. That's where actually Christina's suggestion might come in. Hopefully it's been vetted pretty thoroughly by the time it gets to this vote. And if you know there's just a technicality that could be solved by application, you could table it and allow that to happen.
But if in the discussion, like bringing this up instead of just having to shoot from the hip on it, if verse amongst yourselves and get to me, yes, it could be amended
That's right.
since the P and Z voted to, right?
That's right.
So if y'all want it to be a year, or ask questions, or look around, more than happy.
Well, I would about P and Z that it was brought up to look at going back to a year and then see how they vote.
Mhm.
And then we'll see the minutes of that meeting.
They've already voted on this one.
They've already voted on it. Okay.
So they were fine with the 6 months and not being the extreme or the lax. Either way, but, if y'all have, or would like me to talk to them at a year, I'd be more than happy to bring that up in discussion.
I believe I would, two things, I believe I
Yes,
would
sir.
prefer the 12 months.
Yes, sir.
We have already had a situation where we approved, Mr. Hightower's there, and there was a commitment to have his shop, his office, and his
Yes, sir.
other building done, and they're still on the ground,
Yes, sir.
and I believe I'd like it for a year. I'd like for you to approach the P and Z committee with it
Yes,
for
sir.
a year, but I'd also like to see that this is recorded, says recorded within 60 days.
Yes, sir.
I know that we have had a young couple that approached us wanting to acquire, another piece of property to insulate their property a little bit more,
Mhm.
and the surveyor was out 60 days. I would like for that to be 6 months.
What we did with that one, because of those cases and surveyors, housing booms, no housing, is if, they get under contract. If they contact them, they send them a letter, don't have an availability for 60 days, they submit that, and then if they can't get that done within that amount of time, they can apply for a 4-month extension.
I think that's what Planning Commission recommended in their vote.
Mhm.
But did we have it?
Put some language in there.
Yeah, to enforce.
I mean, what got us where we're at today is there's been too much, well, it could be 60 or it could be 6 months. Let's make it 6 months, because there's nothing that any of us do that can't come to some fruition in 6 months.
That's no trouble. The general, we can knock that out as well, sir.
Any other discussion on number 8?
Chris, before you leave there, I circulated something about other departments and all, but you feel comfortable just developing it? I know you talked about the other service,
Mhm.
just stuff. Can you?
And we are to follow that up. I'm looking at other counties who do have flow charts, and I'm still in that gleaning, phase of seeing how they have them coming out, with the software being postponed due to some staffing issues and what have you. It just gives me a little bit of a better time frame and idea about who really needs to be on to, just make it smooth and fluid as possible to where it gets to us to present it to y'all in the best manner possible.
So much
And it
of
might
the
be-
appropriate staff,
Yeah.
that's all, that's really what I.
Yes, sir. And we're taking steps to get ahead of the ball on that.
Any other discussion on item number 8, section 14? All right, hearing none. Number 9, zoning ordinance section. The changes on the grandfather is the only thing that's been deleted there. Don't see anything that's been added.
And, I'm sorry, I gotta put that away. Going in and adjusting the language was also part, of what we had. Some in ordinance, grandfather needs to be replaced with the proper term, the proper term act.
Resisting non-conforming structure.
Yeah, lawful, either lawful or illegal, non-conforming use.
Lawfully
or structure.
non-conforming.
Yeah, lawful, right.
We had,
Grandfather's the colloquial term, the legal term is lawful non-conforming or legal non-conforming.
and then through the definition, it was technically anything prior to zoning taking place. And we found out that there are some issues, from, like the Barrett issue. What is grandfather's status in? Is it 2 years? Is it 10? Is it 20? Is it before zoning? With this, we kinda took out that oddball.
And it all hooks back to what is law, again, what is lawful or legal non-conforming is a matter of vested rights, specific balancing tests in each situation, so it's not really susceptible to a definition like this.
Yeah. So we're able to max.
But that's being added, is that?
This was a kind of an anomaly. We have a section in our zoning ordinance titled non-conforming uses and structures.
All right,
So
Grandfather was too much.
grandfather is too much.
All right.
Yeah.
So we don't, but we're legal non-conforming, it's already addressed.
It's already addressed.
Okay.
There were
That's all.
a handful of instances throughout the zoning ordinance where somebody used the word grandfather rather than lawful non-conforming, and those are gonna be changed.
Okay.
Then it helps us become from a firmer, I assume as a county perspective.
It does, it's just a matter of consistency, and it also it uses the right words that Richard of the zoning ordinance that talks about.
I just wanted to make sure I was clear on that.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
And we also hope that it'll eventually get out of the mindset of everything's grandfather because I owned it 50 years. You gotta get out of that mindset. Even though it was true many years, but, the statement's misleading. Christopher,
Yes, sir.
thank you on both of those,
Yes.
topics. Thank your board for both of those topics. The work they've done on it. Again, it just shows that we're putting in to make the corrections in the old documentation. This is all we're doing. And again, thank you.
That's right. Just notice I didn't wear glasses before I worked here.
Yeah, right. Well, if you didn't write so small, you wouldn't have to have it. All right, gentlemen, consider awarding the local maintenance improvement grant sealed bid. This was your LMA, Christina could probably, she wanted me to say this a certain way, and I said, well, if Christina do it, because she's the one that, put most of all this together. But gentlemen, you'll notice that there was a grant award of 1.823. That combines with the city's portion, which if you'll drop down under facts and issues, that was the city of Isla and the city of Calvert. Our portion, believe it or not, was about 1.5. Wait a minute, where am I at?
It's 1.823, 288.
Yeah. The county, okay. The county's match, and the matching fund portion that we have to put up for LMAG is $478,751.
Additional information for LMA.
Correct. Y'all received an email showing all this. They may be here. Yes, they are here. E.R. Snell was 4.469. C.W. Matthews was 3.99, and Garrett Paving was 1.873 on these apples to apples proposals. Really pleased. I was made aware by Garrett Paving that over 90% of their employees lives in Madison, so they were excited to be able to work at home. I think that's probably the reason the numbers are the way it is. They're also excited, along with Chris Dills, is the way we've laid out the structure, not only for this bid packet, but this is a fall bid packet. This is a patching packet. This is strictly lane miles of patching in front of you. No specific, there's a specific set of roads, but there's no specific amount of, or specific areas that in the other areas. But again, this is the patching part. Come springtime and early summer, that's going to be your paving part. Again, in the fall, trying to capitalize on the downtime of the paving crews, we get a little better rate on tonnage. Really happy when I opened this bid. Alan done a great job of working with these guys and getting us this number. So with that being said, if there's no other questions, they may be, please ask. I'll ask for a motion to the bid packet for Gary.
Could we approve the award?
I have a motion by Commissioner Chandler, second by Commissioner May. Gentlemen, any other discussion? Hearing none. Derek?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Can we get a schedule on that?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Thanks.
Coming quick.
I think it's for November. November, beginning of November.
Putting together that
Soon they're
calendar.
gonna work, start someplace in the county, working, you know, so start in District 2.
Brian, what was it, Brian?
Well, I got folks that know their dirt road's not getting paid, so therefore.
I'll leave it there, I know.
Exactly, don't.
In the
Yes,
bid
sir.
packet, we put, to start on November 1st and be completed by April 30th, and I'll get a more schedule for you.
And it can be a rolling schedule, just, you know, what to expect in the next 3 days. That way, no changes.
We look for the wrapping up to literally be in March. Our bid packet went to April 1st. We think we're gonna be done, March 1st. And we're hoping that lap that they'll be able to leave one, we'll do a complete second phase of it. And I really believe that we're gonna probably be paving all next year in some fashion. It's a good day for road improvements, and it all goes back to T-Splosh. There's a lot of counties that's trying to get it right now. Oconee County is one of them. If a rural community wants a road fixed, T-Splosh is the only way it can happen, gentlemen.
I'm sorry, I'm just chiming in with it. I didn't realize it, but was talking with bond lawyer and other county attorney friends, one of the very few that's gotten a single county T-Splosh,
Yeah.
T-Splosh passed,
Mhm.
so.
And it was a landslide.
Yeah.
But that's how important it is to get the roads fixed. Oconee County, of all the people that lived there, I think it only failed by like 700 votes, which was nothing compared to the voter turnout that day.
Yeah.
It was close. It was
Yeah.
very close.
I just thought it was, showed that the county, everybody did a good job of explaining the importance of it.
Yep.
Yeah, I went around the table. I'm trying to remember if I went around the table or not. Appointing Mark Bird to the Recreation Department.
Mr. Byrd is here, he is my appointment. Just a special thanks to Mr. Byrd, and actually had more than one citizen of the county that presented themselves for consideration for the Rec Department Board, and I think that speaks very highly, but I've enjoyed, speaking times on the phone. He comes without preconceived notions of how things ought to be done, but he's just, willing to dedicate his time and give the county for this position.
Thank you.
Yes.
The motion that I guess that you're making.
Yep.
Because, I talked to Mark and I think it's a good choice.
Good.
So, gentlemen, I have a motion by Commissioner Chandler, a second by Commissioner Kirk. Anything on appointment of Mr. Byrd? Hearing none. Dennis?
Yes.
Yes,
Thank you, Mr. Byrd.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
I will tell you up front, it's a very thankless job. It's a hard job, but we are trying to transform that board a little bit. We've got good people on that board, and I went to a recent meeting to give them our support. We are trying to collaborate when they have decisions that needs to be made, to know that we have decisions come before us. I look for you to do good things, sir. I appreciate you helping our youth.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I consider a resolution for the amendment to the moratorium. All right.
Were you able to get it in everybody's packet?
Yes, I did,
Okay.
yes, I did. I thought I did,
This
did I
email
not?
has material.
All right, Christopher, come up and explain this.
Let me go make copies.
All right, never mind, take a break.
I had changed the agenda and everything too.
Hey, we're way ahead of schedule,
Sorry.
take your time. Stephanie likes feeding cows and the flashlight, that's the girl. Young lady, you will be new. I don't know that I'm gonna speak at any more of y'all's gatherings. Ever since I did, y'all got somebody here 2 or 3 times a week. No, I appreciate you, I appreciate what you do. glad to have bringing the good news from Madison County to the University of Georgia students.
Bad news stops at the county line. Is that a word?
If it's not, we'll make it.
Yeah, right.
We've had a lot of, probably in the past 4 months, some great news source. They've been in the hallways, they've been at ribbon cuttings. Thursday, there was 3 ribbon cuttings in the county in one day. It's good stuff, man. Our chamber's rocking.
Sorry about that, I can't believe y'all didn't. get
She's
your own-
been P&Z stuff.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I forgot what the young man's name is. He brings the camera with him.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, she's got a camera. It's a phone, right? They don't need those cameras anymore. They just got the phone. She got an iPhone 14. I'm gonna tell you what, you can zoom in. I had a guy the other day. I just take a photo. I was at a ball game. I was sitting on the other side, completely across from him, and he said, "I know where you're sitting at," and he sends me a picture of it, and it's down. You can see my color of my eyes. It's scary. I'm glad it's not a scope on a gun.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
They might be able to text you,
Yeah.
but they might not reach you.
All right. Go ahead, Chris.
Yes, sir. So, as the moratorium goes along, we want to open it up to the citizens as much as possible. As we get through there, we are thankfully in the final stages of the bare minimum. Now, as we've moved through the bare minimum, we found out we needed to change this. We needed to go this way. So, we covered a lot more than we just started out with, because more issues arrive through communicating with other departments, with other agencies, and even looking at more into our zoning ordinance. But at this point in time, planning and zoning staff feels that it will be to the county, and that we've also reached a safe point where we can allow single parcel rezones to AR, so long as they're 4 acres or more.
Less, under 4 acres.
Under 4.
3.99.
Thank you, 3.99.
Now, that's gonna drive some questions, so please explain that.
All right, so
That one then cannot be split.
Well, we still have the same rules on what, the parent parcel and how many splits. We've had a moratorium on,
So if you allow one less than 4, then that one that you're allowed cannot be divided.
oh, yeah. Well, so that would need
going through a complete rezone into a
that, and
residential.
as a matter of fact, that is why we did, I reminded, that's .99.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because, yes,
Cannot be divided.
it could not be, to be divided, it would have to have another, see it again.
The major concerns that have crossed my desk with outreach from various commissioners, due to the hardship and the housing market and everything the way it is now, we're seeing an influx, just not of homes going up, but of children and grandchildren coming back home. And the biggest issue that the moratorium has caused as a scratch or bump going down the road, or Madison County citizens want to come back home, they need to finance pre-built modular home, or a home papa or daddy or mama or whoever's willing to get 3 acres on the corner lot to try and help bring them a home back to us and help them out. Bad part is they can't get a construction loan on the property without property being in their names. This will handle the side effect from the moratorium. Right here, we're only opening it up for AR. We're not opening it up for residential yet. It's just to help where mom and pop are trying to split off 3 acres for a child to come back home and build a house and be part of our community.
Or a mother, father.
Or a mother, father, or grandparents trying to move in. They don't want to
Well, it's
be
not
that.
a family member.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. But that's what the outcry has been, but it can be used in other ways.
So just to remind the board, we've already opened up a single parcel long as it was the same, as long as it was in the same zone.
You could split your parcel once so long as it didn't require rezone.
So the first two parts of what you handed us are things that have already been released.
Right.
It's only the
Last
Yeah.
paragraph. is that
last paragraph.
Yes, sir.
And I just didn't have the dates. That's
Well,
my-
I want to go over the dates with you, I've got them.
Okay.
The first blank is November 19th, that's when originally was set to be listed.
Okay.
And then the second set of blanks where we list the new list, the first amendment to the moratorium was June the 27th.
Okay.
With the same list date.
All right.
Amendment to the resolution, we are prepared for, as a county with planning and zoning staff. This is not gonna have negative consequences to where we're going as a county and where we're planning to go as a county in conjunction with the IDBA, with Hall Consultant, with the Board of Education. This isn't gonna put us in that bad spot. This is gonna help our citizens, and we are prepared for it.
And this will still keep, that last blank will remain November 19th, since we're not doing any public hearings to extend the list. So,
Right.
We're in the final portion, final stage. We can see the finish line, in planning and zoning for the end of the moratorium, getting what we want done. There's still gonna be some polish and nitpicking.
A quick question, so the amendments that you showed me earlier, those are the last set of amendments on?
To the ordinance itself.
So November 19th will not work? Because that will be the last time they vote on any kind of amendments for the
Got
zoning
one
ordinance.
set left. Y'all's meeting will be after the night.
Maybe 24.
Ours are different.
so if you want to, I mean, obviously you can amend the zoning ordinance without a moratorium. If you think that there are still problems that you need a moratorium for, we'll need to do, do the advertising and do a public hearing here sometime before the 19th to extend.
15th is a Saturday or a Friday,
Saturday.
so we won't meet the next Monday.
Do you need them to extend the moratorium?
We're going to need to extend the more major, minor subdivision, stuff like that is still out there.
Okay, so for November 7th, we need to have a public hearing. The board does to extend the moratorium.
But you're gonna have to have at least 15 days, so we don't have, so you're gonna
Get
need,
it in the paper and have it.
so you're gonna need to call a meeting to extend.
All right, that's not a problem.
Do that and.
Absolutely. This,
If you include major, minor, that would need December then. We get that before them. Sorry.
it doesn't matter what we said. It doesn't matter if we extend it 3 months or 6 months.
Yeah.
It'll be based off of how much time frame you think you're gonna need to get the rest of our zoning requirements down. I don't have a problem with
I
it.
think that when me and you sat down and did the calendar, it pushed us into January, but then the last set of amendments that the board did, there was some pushback from your board.
Yeah.
And it pushed it back.
That's what
It's probably gonna be the end of January, beginning of February,
put us 2
with the
weeks back.
schedule we made.
It's okay. All right.
Yeah. Although I think from our talking, correct me, I think you may extend it to January, but there may be some big partial lifts between.
Oh, yeah.
During the end.
Well, I think this is we was under 6-month moratorium.
Yes, sir.
I think this is the 5th item we've released.
Yes.
So due to the duty of rewriting it, here we are in the completion stages. So my hat's off to you. There's a lot of work been going on. Mike, you fielded a lot of phone calls.
I have told Christopher numerous times throughout this that I thought he was over ambitious and couldn't get it done, and he's proven me wrong.
What did we,
I'm sorry. 2 weeks off.
what did we
Sorry.
do, 4 phases, and this is part of phase 2?
It started as 3 phases and then became 5 with
That's
a
right,
sidebar. So
Yeah.
we went from 3 to 5 plus
possible.
Okay.
do the,
I'll do some dates tomorrow.
All right, gentlemen.
sorry,
So,
2
no,
weeks.
that's all right. You're good.
So,
Just on what we're looking at tonight.
Yes, sir.
so, we gotta set this call meeting
So,
as,
if I can-
mean, what,
Let's see.
Anytime before
So
the
if I can get, send the, will you take it tomorrow? And add, for a public hearing, will they take it tomorrow morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 'cause they normally yell at me if I try to do that. I try to send them Monday. Yeah. They can yell at you. Okay. So if we can get in the paper this week, so that'll, and then it'll come out on the 27th, that rolls you into the 10th, that's 2 weeks in the papers, so we can have it starting November 11th, and then that following week before the 19th.
Correct, okay. Sure.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Adams, Commissioner Adams' suggestion, go ahead and set it for another 6-month extension, knowing that, done with these, that there'll be portions of it that'll be released ahead of time.
Oh, yes.
And there's nothing that says we have to go the whole 6 months. In the 3rd month or 4th month, we're fine. If we finish this in 2 months.
Yeah.
But at least we have a window, we don't have to do it again. I think that's what Derek was talking about to begin with, you know. So, good deal. All right, gentlemen.
14th, Monday, sound good, tentatively?
Yeah, 14th, yeah.
Monday the 14th?
Mr. Pruitt, Denny may go comment, and you can talk to, you can let us know what you think on this, but the work that the IDBA that is doing on their structure, does that need to be a part of this as well?
Well, I mean, their structure is not part of our zoning ordinance, so that won't require a moratorium or public hearings or any of that, so, I think it may be a good idea to try to do them simultaneously, but that's my judgment.
There's things that they'll need from us, but we won't necessarily need anything.
Yeah.
On that, though, where I was going with that with Terry, is it would seem to be, in order to be consistent, that they would present whatever their guidelines are, their minimum requirements are, and it would be I believe, after reading their charter and things like that to their charter, that at the end of the day, in order for there to be, it to be codified, and it being county does, and what zoning and planning does, and what our expectations are, it would be up to the BOC to at least have a look at their stuff.
Now, maybe I'm confused. You're talking about the Planning and Zoning Commission bylaws, I guess is what it's called.
No, I'm talking about the requirements.
Oh, I'm sorry.
When Christopher, intent was that the IDA would have the opportunity to look at anything that comes before zoning and planning, and it may be a simple yes or no check on, but at the end of the day, we need to have something in front of us that shows consistency in what their requirements are and the reasoning behind it, so that when zoning and planning comes back to us and says, at some point in the future, whether it's in front of a board or a board in the future, says the IDA says no to the cause, we don't, the applicant is not going to go to the IDA and say, well, I'm going to file a suit against you guys because y'all won't let me. They're going to come to the BOC, and then they'll name them somewhere in the second row down there, third or fourth line.
Well, you want me to explain a little? You were there at this conversation too.
Yeah, and what I'm thinking is, as Commissioner Adams has talked about this, is the requirements or the structure that they put in place then creates in the checklist.
An enforceable matter.
But we do have to have those in order for it to come aligned in the check.
Yeah,
in
the
checkoff.
list.
There were 2 or 3 that would have created based on that meeting.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest one, I think you're going to solve the lion's share of the problems when we correct, and we've already started on this path,
this misunderstanding the IDBA and building inspections as to what a water availability letter means.
Utility availability.
Utility availability.
Water.
Because, as I understand it, from building codes, just, you know, the national building codes and then building inspectors nationally and off of those, defer to the utilities requirements for a connection. So, building inspection department review the plans for whatever Jackson EMC is going to require for your electricity connection, or what SCANA is going to require for your natural gas connection, or for what the water department or the IDB require for your water connection. What they rely on is the availability letter that's issued by and the utility should not issue that availability letter until it has reviewed whatever it requires to standards are being met. Then it issues that, it brings it to the building inspection department. We know that box is checked and the building permit gets issued. We are working to correct that on the IDBA side, and that should correct a lot of the problem.
And
Let's go for all of them.
not all the problems.
No, you also gotta keep that fine line of, okay, we're talking about a zoning matter, rezone of a piece of property from an A1 to potential AR.
Right.
Not in the construction process. Now,
Yes.
that necessarily would not hinder a rezone from an A2 to an AR for a mobile home or a stick-built home. The availability, yes, it's nice to get the availability. It can be part of the request, but it does not at any point in time hinder the actual rezone itself. Now, the build process, it would. At the building permit process of issuing, yes, you would need that to say, wait a minute, no, you don't need to put a well in because we have a line and it's part of our agreement, not stop the actual rezone.
And we do have, in specific areas already where we do require IDBA letters, to be sent in. With major subdivisions, it's also listed as a minor, but we don't define minor subdivision. Nothing for residential, we will, by golly. So and with major subdivisions right now, and the standards we hold them to are what are in our major subdivisions. 6-inch line run, but in our department, we don't know if it's a 2-inch line that can't produce enough fall to create pressure, so now we've got a pump on it, or we're having to go off of a distance and force pressure, losing water availability due to friction. There's things that aren't planning and design when they just give them a letter. All we have is to assume that they said, yep, good to go at this point.
Yeah, the other piece, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, I understand what you're doing. There's a zoning part of it. Collectively, gas company, somebody else, phone, telephone, power, IDA, water. These would be enough conversation going that, I mean, we put stipulations and stuff all the time when we rezone stuff, so it may be appropriate at that time to put a stipulation in, you know. However, that final, you know, that number 10 wire, number 12 wire might not.
Yeah, so I think that's what remains to be worked out is, what plat approvals and rezones need to have input from IDBA and perhaps other county departments, sort of an internal development or regional impact process.
We're trying to make steps to open those lines and start that dialogue, like through or staff meeting with IDBA members to try and get an understanding of what they need from us, what they're looking for, and then in turn, what standards do we have to back that up when we receive
and part of that could be, and I think I actually have looked into it since we talked last week, and I think part of that could be that in some cases sewer, if we have it, if it's available, we could require a condition of that rezone that require the connection to the public water or sewer. So those all still have to be worked out, but I think that's the part Commissioner Adams, and you were talking about it.
One of the things that I want to avoid is a situation like we have down at the reserve where some 10 or 15 years ago approved and installed a project set dormant for a number of years, and then when it was brought back to us, we had literally no vendors available. And I'm not saying that what we need to develop needs to be so difficult that developers are put off by Madison County, but it needs to be a standard that's set, and it needs to be that from this day forward, this is acceptable.
That's exactly, yes, and that's part of the conversation.
That was the gist of the conversation.
Yes.
Yeah, I would tell you, it is in process. Everything is in process. I guess that's the best way to wrap it up. You know, there's been, we went from null format, we are working with that format, with communications and trying to get all the paperwork, whoever needs it, from wherever they need it, who all needs to be informed of it. I do think that we have that now. There's mass emails going out that has everybody on it. If somebody don't know something, it's because they didn't read it, but you got it.
We don't have those objective criteria drafted yet.
That's right.
We have,
It's
everybody
in
knows
process.
it needs to happen.
And it's in process.
Can we whip out the crystal ball and rub on it a little bit and decide when, you know, we're talking about extending a moratorium for some period of time?
I would tell you it needs to be at least the pertaining to this, the pertaining to, so we don't get into an SMI or anything like that. January's the latest. I'll be honest with you.
Would that
We have
not
to
be
start off
fair?
2023.
I think that's very doable, yeah.
You know, that way, you know, everything's targeted and there's no reason it should be together. If everyone has a understanding that, you know, on this date, we're gonna enact this now, and we're not gonna pull rabbits from now.
Right. But understanding that it, you know, we're talking about the IDBA coming up with their criteria, so I can't force this, but I will say, I don't know of any reason they shouldn't be able to do that in that time.
Well, one thing said here is there's like two different issues, but they're intertwined.
Yes, sir.
And really what we need is sort of an understanding, and I don't know what you call it, we call it standardized work or a process.
Yes,
We
sir.
need to know what the process,
Yes, sir.
exactly what step by step this should happen, and who intervening and what steps we can take. So that just, we need some kind of process to say, when we're doing this subdivision, this is what happens, and this step, we gotta make a flow chart.
Already got it going.
All right.
As we speak, I'm ahead of the game on that one. And I don't mean this negatively, I'm getting held up by departments I don't have any influence with or functions.
Well,
I
if
need
we need
some
some help with that, then show me somebody can help with that.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to email and work out times,
Yeah, I
but,
understand.
to have a master checklist for any major of property. So major subdivisions would fall in that. Sometimes it goes past major subdivisions like Madico Park or Madico West. When we get into that, just not thinking the subdivisions and housing as far as trying to welcome in what's going to benefit the county, and having it in a set master list that every single department in the county goes by.
There we go.
As we had the conversation last week, your word procedure is exactly where we were getting to. Because the concept we've got to establish procedure that will be in place regardless of who's sitting in what chair.
Right.
So it occurs regardless of personnel changes,
Yeah.
et cetera. So
You got decision points and all of that. That's right.
And using the KISS method.
All right,
There you
all
go.
right, gentlemen.
Good deal.
Oh, sure, I'll say, because when Derek talks about other departments, I think of the road department and Board of Education following up on the luncheon, Dr. Donovan said. Now, for the road department, that driveway manual that me and you did, that covers entrances, turning lanes, all that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We got that part done then. I just wanted to make sure that all that was covered.
We need to talk on the road bed. So,
Okay. That's it, that's another question.
All right, gentlemen, consider the resolution for the second amendment. I'll ask for a motion to approve this portion.
Would be approved as presented.
I have Commissioner Chandler, seconded by Commissioner May. Any discussion, gentlemen? I think we just so. Here, no, it's okay. It's good stuff, man. Hearing none, Dennis?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen. Road updates around the table before I start. Dennis?
I don't have anything except to thank the, road commissioner, speed limit signage on the Ingram Road and for the rumble strips and the additional stop signs on the Sanford Crabapple Hall Road. And that,
All right, thank you.
Just a couple of statements I've talked to, and this is more of an issue than just a particular road thing, but, on Chandler Road, not Chandler Farm Road, but Chandler Road, there's a really bad knot where a root is pushing the pavement up. Talking to Derek, we don't have and one thing I asked him, not trying to tell him how to do his job, but if we had a trench or something, you could just go along the side of the roots, crack. That would be one way, so a narrow bucket on the track. But anyway, there are several places, I know from Hope Thompson Lane, we're considering correcting that. That's bad on those. Anyway, every time I talk to them, they're already aware of it, they're working on the plan. Those like that are more difficult to do because it requires cutting that pavement, removing the roots.
Yeah, and that's really what it's going, it's whatever trees cost is gonna be within the right of way, we'll have to remove the tree, then cut the pipe, or then cut the road and then remove the stump and patch back over, which these items are not a problem, especially during our patching projects. We can get ahead of it, so Chandler Road. All right, anything else, sir? No. Hope Thompson's a whole way till we get a little further in that one. Right. All right.
That James Holcomb Road thing that we already.
Oh, yeah, we went out again last week on it, twice, and I give it to Alan today to follow up because the guys went back Friday. So,
And
that road is gonna have to have a little bit of an issue because I think that's where that, AAA sanitation is, where the big trucks and the steer tires. That road is a triple surface road, and when they turn in and out of it, it just chews the asphalt up. Because I'm not picking on the company at all, it's just the way the trucks are designed.
right.
But we are aware, and we are working on it. But it's gonna be ongoing as long as that happens.
Okay. And then, is there any sort of a process or like paperwork to be filed or anything like that to look into speed humps or speed tables, speed bump or whatever on Virginia Lane?
Bumps, your insurance auditor or your insurance, will tell you, please do not, because you open up a liability. Humps. Clark County, they don't really even have them anymore. There's some, but they even got away with them. I mean, it's really more of an enforcement issue. I hate to say it, Lane, you can reduce the speed limit and hope that.
Yeah, I mean, it's already set at 25.
Exactly, and there's
People
nothing
use
lower.
that, for whatever reason, they use it as a cut through from Harvard Mathis to Glencarry Road.
Correct,
And they fly down that road.
that's right.
And kids are walking on the road, you know, a lot of people use that road for exercise, but.
I've actually, in the city of Danielsville, has been doing it recently, but the one that comes right here from the school, that comes back around, comes in front of the Golden Pantry Court, they use that to avoid the roundabout. And I'm telling you, when they turn off the school road right here, they're running 60 before they get to that. There's several little ladies
And that's how
that
it is
walk.
on Virginia Lane too. I mean, there's some very sharp curves on that road, but people fly between the curves.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know you can't put children at play signs up anymore. No. Because somebody somewhere at the Capitol years ago said that when you place that sign up, you're giving that child right away to play in the road. Because you put a sign up, big no-no anymore. You can put them up, but you have to put them up at your own expense. That's why you see a lot of these, hey, my child's play. Any other roads?
Go ahead, bro. I have very few complaints complaints. Biggest thing that I sort of want the public to know this too in the paper, is people that ask me, especially in the 4th district, about, so since we got all this stuff, when are we gonna start paving the, dirt roads? And I tell them that, well, basically, what we're trying to do now is get our up to standards, which will allow us to look at future doing some paving. And I try to explain to them about the cost of how much it costs to pave a dirt road. The thing is, that I have very few complaints about the roads. The one that I did have was from over on Cherokee Road, where they had some spots that needed to be taken care of, and I think that we're looking into those. I know I talked to Alan about those, but a person that lives over there used to be a commissioner in Gwinnett County, and when I explained to him our whole process and about how that we had one go out, a third party evaluate those and what we're trying to do, they were very happy about that. And they indicated that, you know, that we were forward thinking on that. So.
Thank you, sir.
Now, why?
The best road signs I've seen with all the political signs going up are the ones up in Bear and Jackson County that say county.
Yeah.
There are no county in Jackson now.
I know.
He's looking at me.
No.
I sent Alan some tree trimming things to make some visibility better, and then the only thing I haven't got with it yet was on Culver Diamond Hill Road, right there at Brush Creek.
Mhm.
The paint on the road needs to be touched up. Fog hangs in that little hole pretty good bit. I think the center line looks good, but the edge lines use some help, especially in the low.
And one other comment, just for thought, and this is an issue not specific to a road, but where we have private drives with multiple occupants, and those abut a county road. One particular on the Irwin Kirk Road, it happens to be coming downhill. There's responsibility to take care of the road, and when you get heavy rain, it washes right down that road and onto Irwin Kirk Road, and across the road gets into somebody else's property. The county somewhat has their hands tied, because you can only really legally do what's in the right of way, but the problem exists further driveway. So just be thinking about to correct those kind of situations. This is another reason that multiple occupancy private drives are not a good idea.
Well, I'll tell you, there may be good reason, and it could be finances. There's ways to address issues. We just done it over there at Culver. Don't put it in a paper. The one that Pridgeon done, we put the grate in. Say, okay, you're gonna, even if you want a dirt driveway, you're gonna have to put a 10-foot apron, and you're gonna have to put a grate. So anything coming up that's gonna hit that grate, stay in that ditch. So these are all over but not in Georgia. I don't know why, but those do work. It'll be part of our driveway stuff that we're gonna come up. We're gonna start looking and going out and saying, well, if you build up there and your driveway straight up and you plan on graveling it, you're not getting this driveway. You're not getting that permit, because we're not gonna have your gravel down here the road that somebody's, we're just gonna, I hate to police it, but common sense, we're gonna go, just being honest. But I do look for changes in the future coming with that situation.
Just a little update on Lynn Edwards, where it's
Yes,
not
sir.
in my district, but
Yes, sir.
I hear about it every time my wife goes to the beauty shop.
It's also a big question.
Yeah, gotta love it.
Gotta love it.
So, for the people that live on the road, they love it. For the people, for the people that travel the road, and most of them that do live on the road, it is a hot topic, but even on Facebook, if you read far enough, people in there explaining why it needed to be done. The majority, I want to say, Alan said today, they met, again, we are probably 90% done with grubbing the trees. Yes, the trees are still out of the ground about 6 foot. We've done that on purpose, so now we can grab them with the track hoe and pull them off.
So it's a historic project in progress.
It is. It's in progress, and it's actually going a little faster than I thought it would be. I I will say for the record, that there was trees cut outside of the right of way. That is not true. We did not go outside of the right of way in any shape, fashion, or form. When we're done, it'll be no different when everybody thought it was the dumbest thing ever, now everybody loves it. So they'll love it when it's done, other than the fact, then they're gonna come back and speed humps, because it's fast, you know. Brian, a little bit back to your comment before I move on. We do have a few, and it's very few, probably less than a handful of dirt roads that have been built in the past 4 or 5 years. They have the right base. I'm not gonna rule out completely that those roads won't get a triple surface. They're not gonna get paved, but they'll get a triple surface, only because of the way the foundation's put out there. But thank you for saying,
Well,
we have priorities in the
Yeah.
thoroughfares before I
you even
look
do
at
those.
that end.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's what I meant, before we even do any of those, but
Well, and people
some
need,
people have, I guess, expectations because of T-spot, and maybe we haven't, communicated that quite as
And
well
I
as we
think-
ought to.
I think you're right. You got it, and I explained this to a young lady just the other day. T-Splosh still comes in quarterly.
That's right.
When it was voted in, we didn't get a check the next day for $13 million. We getting money quarterly. I think we're at $760,000 before anybody reads it and thinks, oh Lord, they got $760,000, why ain't they spending it? That ain't enough to do nothing. But so in order to where you want to pave those roads, you're 2 to 3 years out from the day it passes. Now, granted, we've done a good job in some other areas. We are going to have some money up front to do some stuff with, and the T-Splosh is going to give it back to us. But bear with us. Just bear with us. I promise you, it is in process. People know me. If it's coming, it's coming.
I think that may be another thing that some people just don't understand, is how expensive it is to pave.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you're going from a dirt road to a,
$200 a foot.
is that something?
Used to be $110, that was a long time ago.
It all depends on what you do to them. It all depends on if you're topping. It really does. There's so many variables in it, I really can't price what it is per foot. Because,
We can't.
but this is where the service is going to come in. All right. So just because Larry's here, I'm going to announce this just because Larry's here. Bridge update for Highway 281 and Highway 29. Projected completion date today is July 4th. Way ahead of schedule.
You're doing an excellent job so far.
Yes, sir. It was an 18-month project, if I recall right. This is going to, yeah. This is, yeah.
July the 4th. So Independence Day, we're going to pray.
They may have a celebrate, or at least Larry will celebrate.
The mayor,
Everybody in here.
in the mayor's car across the bridge.
I want to be the first attraction.
But not a four-wheeler.
On July 4th, you can tell everybody I forced it through, I'll get the praise, but if it opens after July 4th, I had nothing to do with it, it was DOT. It was just riding along.
Hey, I'm going to take credit for that.
Yeah, Side Mowing Crews is currently performing their year-end complete right-of-way of mowing. We have swapped up a little bit. We have a second sidearm that'll be running through. What we've been doing, the sidearm's been hit and miss based off of grass cutting changes. You're pretty much going to see a sidearm running 365 other than weekends. So yeah, it's going to run year round. That's the projected project that we have, and it's going to make us, because in the fall, you know, you just can't keep up with the growth and the school buses turn. Urban Kirk being one of them. There's spots on it. I got a phone call today. We'll send the guys out tomorrow, depending on their look. The dirt portion of Matico Drive widening and base setting project has been completed. If anybody, that's nice. It wasn't for SMI. It was for every business in there that needs to be done. Georgia Cutters is along there. They receive trucks in and out. Now transfer trucks can get in and out of that. taking a portion of the existing road that has a sag in it. We'll cut that out during the patching crew. When they come in during the fall, they'll patch that part. The Kingston Green cross drains have placed, we waited on those for a while. Those were big drains. For the top of my head, I want to tell you it was a 60-inch culvert. But anyway, it's done, and it's been needing to be done for a couple of years. It basically, the bottom of it rusted out. Just standard routine maintenance on those. Again, I like to brag on them because they do a good job along with everybody else we have here in the courthouse. Those crew guys. From the public's persona, you have to admit they have stepped up their game. They've got equipment to work with. Now they don't work half on the roads. Guys are getting it done, and I'm really, really, really proud of the road department for everything they've done.
I agree.
I agree with you. Thomas Heights, out your way. The other day, gentleman called out, and the next day he called and says, thank you, it's amazing. Thomas Heights.
Okay, good. I've been down there on the bus.
Urgent matters, gentlemen. All right. Statements, remarks from citizens. Yes, sir. He was first.
Thank you very much for the new website. It's good.
Thank you.
That we got it. Thanks.
Can you remind me what your name is again?
Bill Smith.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Lee Mitchell.
Oh, no.
Quinetian.
I am pretty much a regular at the IDBA meetings now, just like I am here. And I went to the other day. A lot was discussed. A lot of money was thrown back and forth on the projects that are going on. I am really concerned with the non-budgeted, Zach did a good job of putting it in the paper. $20,000 for a new James Hall well, $50,000 for a filter system, $300 and something thousand over on the Mines Road project. It may be premature, but can I ask, where is this? I mean, I know that it's going to be laid on you all when the time comes, and it may be premature if you don't have it yet.
So I will tell you on the Mines Road expansion, that award was about $576,000. Don't quote me exactly. I think it's 576. Yeah, just a little short.
Under 550.
In that commitment, and it was part of the CDBG that they went through to get it, I had to give a verbal commitment up to $100,000 overrun. Up to 100. That's only by power, up to 1,000. And in order for them to get that 576, I did have to, but now you're 300-something thousand short. So at this point, I do not have any idea as to where that's going to come from. It may be something they have budgeted. It may be part of the money that they have coming in for their mill rate. Really no intentions of them coming back to this board for it. I don't think they would do that, but I don't know. As approached me with it, nobody's questioned me
It was
with it.
stated in the paper, and they did say this, that they were going to go to the commission to get that money. I just get the feel, I got the feel with all the questions that were posed in that meeting, and of course they went into things in depth a whole lot more than they do at the regular IDBs. But there's just a severe lack of planning, it seems like. There's just not a, there just doesn't seem to be a plan for things. And that's just what I got out of it. I just wanted to.
And I will try to speak to that as best I can. I will tell you what Christopher was referring to a minute ago and what you sat through the other day in trying to get the right people on the same page. That's going to be key to this thing, communication. Nobody's approached me about any money. I'll say that. They may have said it in the newspaper, but it's not been before me or done before this board.
Well, that's why I said it may be premature.
Yeah. It may be. would not come to well very often, it will go dry. Okay? I mean, if you're gonna make arrangements, that percentage deal, I will say that, mine was bid, when it was projected, it was for amount to be fully covered. I had any idea about the inflation rate? You know, that it was gonna go through the roof and pipe gonna go up. So I don't know that that part of it would have been their fault, but it's still something that you have to take account for. You know, we don't need to, and I'm not saying they are, because I don't know their numbers. I don't know their financial numbers. I don't know how much money they have in the bank. But I'll tell you, I don't live paycheck to paycheck. I have to have a plan. So I agree with you on the plan part. I do think that the communication between this board, that office, that board, I think is going to get better. I think we will hopefully get something in black and white as to how to do things. Not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that there's some inadequacies there.
It was enlightening to see the inner workshop for me.
Yeah, it's there's fixes, and I'll tell you that fixes is January 1st. I'll say it, January 1st, a whole new light to be shined on how the workings of all this works. That gives us all 3 months. That gives this board 3 months, that board 3 months, that office 3 months. Everybody that's part of it. I don't want to go through 2023 with the same gray hairs I got from 2022. I can tell you that right now, sir. It will be better one way or the other. My rec department too, same way. Rec department's the same way. You know, when you get that communication going, and everybody that's a player in the game, and the parent that fuss and don't like nothing about the rec department, come to the meeting and see how the inner workings go. Now, if you're not happy, then come to us, like you just proposed that question to me. Come to me after you saw it. If you still didn't like what you saw, bring it to this board. I encourage that. Same way with the rec department. It's getting, but we can't. We've inherited not last year's problems, 5 years ago problems, not 10 years ago problems. It's just a mountain of 50-year-old problems. And I don't think anybody, including Mike Pruitt, would have ever believed that in 2 years we could have got this much stuff fixed and behind us and on to the next problem. Because that's what we're doing. We're going from one problem to another, but they're being completed, they're being addressed, and I do feel like Madison County forward. I'm proud. I just wish it could come faster. I need 2 Mike Pruitts. I need Mike Pruitt full time. He won't even talk to me. I'm just saying, in order to do what we're trying to get done.
Get a lot of deferred.
Yeah, and you know, and I can't put it all off on Mike. I have to rely on P&Z. I have to rely on P&Z. Yourself and William coming in on your days off to sit in that office to discuss about rewriting this. You couldn't rewrite that at a meeting. You had to do it because you got in the office on your off hours to come up with this. We sat around and brainstorm. When y'all get done, you come to Christopher's office, or Christopher comes to Christina's office, and then us 3 sits around and brainstorms. And then it comes to this board, and then this board brings back to y'all's board, and then they vote, and then it comes back to our board. So this is a big working machine, and I hate it when a cog falls off. But guess what? We'll fix it and keep going. All right, gentlemen, moving on. Thank you for the question. Good question. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you answering that. This is statements from our commissioners, and I do have one last thing, I promise. It'll be simple, though. Statements from our commissioners.
Good.
Only one thing, and it's just a public service now. The city of Danielsville Fire Department, the volunteer fire department in the city of Danielsville, make sure announced that they're going to have a fall festival, trunk or treat, whatever, up here on the corner of Danielsville on Monday night, which is Halloween, and that they would like for everybody in the county to know Nice Fire Department's going to be there. There's a bunch of other businesses and some other things that's going to be there, and it's sort of different than thing on Saturday night, so it's on Monday night up there, so don't get that confused. But they said if anybody would like to donate some candy, it's 6 o'clock, because it's gonna start at 6:30, and donate the candy to do that. And I promised those guys I would, they're trying to do some public outreach, and they're gonna have some things about fire safety and stuff like that up there too, so if you can join that, please do.
Gentlemen, I just want you to take this last packet here with you and look at it. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Hey, under my remarks and statements, can you give an update on our construction projects, EMS and food
Yes.
bank?
Food bank is at about 95% completion. We got the AC system and the heat put in it just recently. We had to order a few more shelves. We ran out of not the shelving, but the uprights to hold the shelving. It has been put back together, organized neatly. You can 95% complete, sir. Now, it's the best way I could tell you. Nothing's holding us doing daily business in there. We're just trying to get a few more shelves in it. The HVAC was wrapped up this past week. EMS station in Comer, we got a sidewalk crew coming in, the paving crews is coming in. I think that's all gonna happen within the next 2 weeks. The interior metal has been ordered for the Bay Area. I don't really want to, Zach, don't put this part in if you don't mind. The rough end is done, but there's no sheetrock up. Sheetrock scheduled. I don't want nobody to go down and steal all the plumbing trees and ask you to say it and leave that part out. But anyway, rough end's complete. Right now, the heat and air is done, roof's on, the brick's done, doors and windows, except for the roll-up doors, because we're waiting on the metal to get put up so we don't have to work around the interior metal in the Bay Area. So 70% completion.
So, do we have an estimate we think it'll be complete?
No longer than January 1st.
So it
I
should
want to be in
the new year.
I want to be in at the end of 2022.
Okay.
This is, you might remember, I asked a question about a year ago, and it's about Madison Park. Mike, do you have this?
Yes.
Right. Flip to Exhibit A. This is a little bit astonishing. I heard this rumor years ago. And line item number 2 on Exhibit A. This is a commercial or manufacturing facility is not built on the property within 24 months of the date of the convey of Madison County Industrial and Building Authority. At its sole have the right to buy back property at the same price paid in this transaction. So I'm going to ask the IDBA to follow up on this piece of property. This piece of property is 3.39. It sits directly in front of SMI. I ask you to follow up on that one because I want to make sure. I'd always heard that, but I wasn't sure, and nobody else did. And I pulled the feed, and I'm like, well, there it is. And then the second page there, gentlemen, with the blue outline. This is something else I want to ask the IDA their thoughts on, or IDBA, and that is the 12. I think it's about 12.79 acres. And down here on Highway 172, as you'll know, is the retention pond. I marked out a 5.5 because that is a well site, and then the others down here in the 7.0 acres is another little well. And I added a yellow line, but I'm thinking if we can, I'm just trying to free up space. That would leave us 5 acres for sale of good real estate for a potential another. There's no need in us really retaining 5 growable acres for a business as long as we maintain an easement down that side. But again, this is just thoughts I would like to throw out to them. One, to look about that 3.3, because I'd love to see on it, and then this 5.0 sitting here, I'd love to see a business on it. But I just want to let y'all know what I was going to put there to them. The rest of that property is obviously I would like to see some of these larger owners that don't think they're gonna expand to split that property. You have some directly beside, look at that, all of that. And I'd love to say, you know what, put you a 40,000 square foot over if you want to. But as I stated earlier, we had 3 ribbon cuttings last week. SMI is looking to hire 100 more people. That was expressed in the ceremony. And for people that don't know what SMI is, they pull race car parts. They do a lot of carbon fiber work for all the new Cadillacs, all the new Corvettes. A gentleman that worked there walked up to me, I'll say this in closing, walked up to me and I said, so what made you come to work here? And I found out they built stuff for brand new cars and I could show my kids on TV. I built that. So, I'm hearing nothing but...
Also self-defense contract.
That's, yeah.
They do defense contract for helicopter parts, airplane jet parts, and missile parts too. They're pretty diversified. Shoe inserts, a lot of
It's a lot of stuff. But it's a really, really neat company to work for. I spoke to all the owners, probably half the staff, and everybody that works there seems to really enjoy working for those group of folks. So I would encourage making applications right now. Yeah. Couple more years, I might want one myself. See it, hang on. Executive session to discuss real estate acquisitions, personal matters, potential litigation, sir.
No, sir.
Derek Dawson, number 18,
So
Journal, sir.
moved.
Good job. Christopher, thank you.
Always happy to make that.
I'm sure I'll leave it to you.
Never any debate on that one.
Zach, I appreciate it. Thank you, buddy.
Mike McClung got his results.
Oh, my. Okay. Just what we
Well,
need in this world, one more lawyer.
my condolences.
That's what I said when our son got his, let's go down.
Yeah, he's still planning to leave in January.
That's right, he has a plan, I forgot.
He got a plan.
He has a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that was my
Everybody does.
mistake. He was out.
Telling me that, Nathan down in Amherst,
We're watching 18, so I didn't know that when the plan comes together.
But you might get a request for donation Monday and we won't be a judge, so. But,
No, that's,
Well, that's what happened.
no, we all.
We don't own any more of those. Anyway, I was talking to him, there was some surprise.
you should be proud, y'all.
I say,